Featuring Peyton List, The Inheritance delivers a lot of familiar characters, a well-tread story, but does give a certain creepiness factor that helps it stand out. So to summarize the film, Charles Abernathy Sr. is about to turn 75, and originally it seems that his children, Charles Abernathy Jr., Madeline, Drew, and Cammie, alongside Drew's wife Hannah, they were coming for a birthday party. This is especially notable though for the kids because they don't all get along that well with each other, and it's been about 2 years or so since their mom passed when they were last together. So this reunion is overdue, but at the same time feels a bit out of character and place for the way the family is now without their mom bringing them all together. But as the day goes on, we learn that Charles Sr. has a price on his head, and he's likely to be killed by midnight. So this kind of switches up the mood, and add in that Charles tells his children that if he dies by midnight, their inheritance is going to be wiped out. This forces them all to have to look out for their father in a way that he perhaps never looked out for them, and it makes things all the more tense. But what none of Carl Sr.'s kids know is that it may not be a human that's trying to take his life, but something that's a whole different type of entity. So in terms of the review portion, highlight is that if you watch this at night in the dark, you may get creeped out. And that's because The Inheritance, with its focus on occult imagery and a demonic figure, and then of course the dark scenes that make it so that, you know, it makes anything that's moving about you kind of feel like it might be behind you. Like if your eyelashes move a certain type of way, you're like, is that a bug? You know, it gives you that type of feeling. And it's not really about jump scares. It's more so about really creeping you out to the point where it can get into your mind and you start to question, are you safe? But while it does well in the creepiness factor, everything else is bland and generic. The Inheritance produces scary moments, but the story, the characters don't drive the film whatsoever. All the archetypes are there, from Hannah being the outsider who married the nice member of the family, the younger sibling who's cool compared to the older ones who are butt wipes, the living parent who is responsible for the family's wealth being rather absent and cold. It's all what you probably are well used to if you watch a lot of movies or even TV shows, and it makes even the ending feel very unremarkable, satisfying in some ways, but still unremarkable. Hence why overall, originally The Inheritance was supposed to be a Netflix film, but for some reason they dropped it. But considering the creep factor, recognizable young starlet is in it, and the film seemed like it could have had a decent weekend pop before it fades into the ethos of the Netflix library. It seems like it's an odd film for them to drop, but at the same time, it is rather forgettable and barely scratches an itch, so maybe that's why someone decided that this wasn't worth putting on the platform and maybe giving some kind of marketing to.